Hi, BookTube. Coffee break because I feel a little bit like Alice in Wonderland's White Rabbit. I'm just running late. It's no big deal. It's the price you pay for spending a Saturday in London, messing about like I did, as per my last video. It means that all your Saturday things that you normally do, they get rescheduled to Sunday, then your Sunday things to Monday, can you see where I'm going? And so where I am with Middlemarch meditation, well, I've got the pages that I want to cover with everybody marked up and annotated. I haven't done any research into the epigraph, and I toyed with myself whether to just record anyway. And then I thought, I'm going to regret it if I don't give these the full attention that I like, because this is partly for me as well. It's not just for you, but it is a bit for you. But if I don't give it the attention that I like, then I know that I'll regret it later on. So we're just going to take more time. I'm going to get you a Middlemarch meditation for Sunday. Today, just a few little bookish things. First off, what am I reading right now that we're going to get ready to review? I did finish The Vulnerables by Sigrid Nunez. I did that 2 nights ago. So it's done. It's ready. Again, I've got to write the review. So hopefully that review will be ready about this time next week for you. And then that will be a nice way to end February. On the nonfiction side, I am reading an ebook version, a Kindle version, a biography of Harriet Tubman, because I know the name and I know that Harriet Tubman had something to do with the Underground Railroad. And this is another one of those areas of Black history where I think, and okay, yes, I happen to coincide with Black History Month. In a way, I hate that because it makes it seem as though I planned to read the book. I didn't. I bought the book back in December and knew that when I bought it, I think I'd listened to a podcast that happened to mention Harriet Tubman and mentioned Harriet Tubman in a way that said, you all know this history about Harriet Tubman. And I thought, okay, I feel like something needs to be done. So bought the book then. And of course, according to my rule for buying books, I need to be reading them within 3 months from purchasing them. So there we go. I felt I had to say that because I don't tend to jump on the bandwagon of it's this month or it's that month. I could be reading Black history any time of the year as it happens. Look at me. I've managed to catch a Harriet Tubman biography and I'm about a third of the way through that. So I should finish that by the end of February, but you may not see the review for that until April simply because we're going to do Middlemarch March. And the other thing I want to talk about is this news that has recently come out, I think yesterday, that Amazon are going to prevent Kindle users from downloading their books. They're going to stay in the cloud. You can retrieve them and read them on your device, but you can't download them and save the text to another device. And I know people are really unhappy about this. I've watched a couple of videos on it and I have some thoughts. I mean, one thought I had was I'm really glad I don't own a Kindle device. At the moment, I still read Kindle books on my phone or on my laptop. And I have ammed and awed about spending money on a specialist device. And in the end, I thought I'd rather spend that money on a book. I'd rather continue to use the app because that doesn't cost me anything. And because I always have my phone with me anyway, and I don't mind reading ebooks on my phone. And it seemed to me, why would I want to buy yet another device that, well, even Kindles, the cheapest is still nearly £100. I can get a lot of books for £100. And I just couldn't get past preferring to buy books with that money rather than buying yet another device. But I think buying the books only, the ebooks only, and reading off an app rather than a device, it made me less concerned about this decision by Amazon. And also working in the IT industry gave me less concern. And so I wanted to say a couple of things because I know Amazon is a huge company and we may have reasons to be unhappy with it. about because of its largeness. So I don't know if we wanted to imagine for a minute that we weren't getting our ebooks from Amazon, that perhaps we were getting them from a smaller company. I don't know if that would help, but I do think there's a couple of points to bear in mind when it comes to what is an ebook exactly. Is it a product? Is it a thing that you own, or is it a service? And I think you have to just reconsider how an ebook is created and maintained and offered as it is on Amazon before you start thinking, oh, well, I paid for it, so I own it. I think there has to be maybe some thought into exactly what processes does Amazon have to have in place, and therefore could they rightly say, no, it's a service more than it is a product. And I say this because for Amazon to, or any company, to offer the service they do, that is having ebooks available not only for you to download for the first time, but for you to be constantly able to access across more than one device, to be able to share in a very limited way, yes, but to be able to share with other owners of the same application. That is, if somebody else has a Kindle and I have the Kindle app, I could share my library with them, and I've done that. But for all that to be available, I think people need to understand that it's so different than when you print a book. When you print a book, you print so many copies. You do have to pay for storage of those copies. But anytime somebody buys one of those books, or a bookshop takes delivery of some stock, then that expense is gone. It's done. You don't need to worry about that book anymore. But with an ebook, it's different. Once you create an ebook, the amount of storage that you need for that book remains the same, no matter how many people buy that book. And I think that's something maybe people aren't counting into this, their feelings or their reaction to Amazon's decision. Amazon have to keep servers. Those are extremely expensive. It's kit. They need maintenance. They need incredible security. They need employees who cost a lot of money to do the maintenance and overlook the security. And those employees need constant training to keep them up to date with whatever the latest demands are, security needs, etc. They need to constantly keep their website dynamic so that you have all the ways of doing Kindle ebooks that you do. And all of these are a constant cost. And I can understand why a company might think, well, it seems unfair for you to be able to download that product and use it on another device, even and yet we still have to maintain that ebook. You know, it's not a separate thing the way a paper book is. And my feeling is an ebook might be better regarded as a service than a product. I know it has aspects of a product. It reminds us of the products that we do own that are physical. And it's true that it does, but I think it's something more. And while, yes, I kind of regret that Amazon won't let you download as well, because if you've got other reading devices, it's a pain. It ties you back to Amazon. But effectively, it's Amazon that have to have the infrastructure in place and keep the infrastructure in place. And I can understand why they're looking at the competitors who are now just making these reader devices and thinking, oh, you guys don't have to keep all the infrastructure in place. We do. We have to pay for all that infrastructure, but you get the advantage of being able to offer the people who buy your product. They can shift all their Kindle stuff onto your reader, and yet we still have to maintain the files and the servers, etc., etc. And so I can kind of understand why they are defending themselves in that way. And I don't know how the problem can be solved. There are all these new e-readers coming out. They're all very sexy. They allow you, and this is why I keep using my phone, because my phone effectively does the work of some of these more expensive e-readers that let you have BorrowBox and Libby and the Kindle app and all these other things. I thought, well, my phone already does that. My phone already allows me to do that. It's not an e-ink device, but I can filter out the blue light if that's what I'm concerned about. And I don't have a big problem with being distracted. If I want to read an ebook, I want to read an ebook. I don't get distracted by other things on my phone. I've taken a lot of applications off my phone that would be just pointless distraction, because I do think a couple of years ago, I just thought, get rid of it. You don't need all this social media. You don't really need it. It isn't really giving you anything good. So cut yourself off from it. And I've never missed it. I don't have Facebook, Instagram, many, many other things, Discord. A lot of this stuff just isn't on my phone because I just don't see the point. So my phone is pretty much an e-reader that allows me to look at the internet if I need to and call people and send texts. But there isn't a whole lot else going on there. And I guess that's all I really wanted to say. I just felt there should be a more balanced point of view because I could hear a lot of outrage. And I understand that, if Amazon have offered this in the past, it's always a pain for them to take it away. But I can see from their point of view why they would take it away, because what they are offering is effectively a service, not just a product. It has too many service elements and involves too much ongoing costs for them to just go, oh yeah, you can do whatever you want with this ebook file. They might say, well, no, not whatever you want. You know what? We're going to pull that in a little bit because we're paying so that you can have access to this in the first place and maintain access to it and have the delight of being able to read your ebook in a number of places or share it with other people. If you have the advantage of that service, I can see why they're saying we would like to curtail one particular advantage, because we can see that other companies are benefiting from it without having to lay out the costs, the same costs. And that's it. Now I sound like a big capital defender, which I would not normally be. But there you go. I say too, maybe this will prompt more people to buy more physical books. Now, where you buy your physical books from, that might be your best protest vote, if you like, is start to buy your physical books from somewhere else. I think that might be the only gesture you could put forward to Amazon that might change their mind. Because if you keep buying ebooks from them or you keep buying physical books from them, well, they're the ones that have to lay out the cost for this incredible website and their whole organizational infrastructure to make sure that we have this service that we like so much. So I think you either say goodbye to Amazon completely, if it's really something that outrages you, say goodbye to it completely because they are paying to provide you with all this. Yes, they make a profit, but they are laying out a lot of costs to make sure Amazon exists and is there and we can have advantage of it. I think if we take advantage of it, we have to, I guess, recognize the balance of the costs they put out versus the benefits they may think they get back or not. So that's it. I hope this fits into a coffee break. I'll be back on Sunday with a Middlemarch meditation, I promise, everybody. Until then, have great reading. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.